Okay, so this is a message from Spirit on the ways that Spirit speaks to us, to you, to all of us. And one of the major ways that Spirit speaks is through synchronicities. And so I have a bunch of synchronicities to as examples for just the past couple of days that happen in my life. I mean, they happen all the time, but it's an issue of, are we listening? Do we acknowledge that Spirit is speaking to us? The universe is speaking to us through these synchronicities. And for instance, yesterday I was on my way home from work, and there was a license plate in front of me that said, "Don't postpone joy." You know, it was abbreviated, but it was "Don't postpone joy." And then the next car that passed by in front of me said, "Say yes." Right? So I'm like, okay, so that's obviously a message about living in the moment, like treating myself special, treating myself with love, with wonder, with just enjoying life, you know, and not allowing myself to be burdened by challenges, and you know, to take action on that. And then today, a couple of synchronicities is I was speaking to a client, and you know, I was just about to tell him he had just moved here. Um, well, actually, he didn't just move here. He's from here, but he moved to New York City, and so New York City has a ferry that goes to a town that I was grew up in. So I was just about to say to him, you know, while you're in New York, because he had just graduated, he's in finance. Leave her alone. Leave her alone. Stop. So anyway, so I was about to tell him that he should visit the town that I'm from, and he says to me, right before I could say it, he's like, "So where did you grow up?" And I was like, "Well, I was literally just about to tell you to go visit the town, you know, to take ferry out there." And so that was kind of funny. And then earlier this week, I was listening to, actually I was reading something, and a person was making a comment that they're from Thailand, and that 55 is the number, it stands for laughter in their language. And so I was listening to someone, and they were talking about the 5-5 portal today, you know, and just the sensitivities and spiritual alignments and stuff like that of 5-5. And so in my mind, I thought like, oh yeah, and in Thailand, 5-5 is laughter, you know. And so 5 is a number of change, and so often we can feel like change is a challenge. We can fear change, you know. And so to think of change as laughter, something that's happy, that's good, like good change is coming, you know, that's a positive, because then we create good changes in our lives. And so anyway, so right as I thought that, the person that was speaking said, "Okay, well, I was gonna go to Thailand, but I'm canceling that trip because of all this stuff going on in the world." And I laughed, because I was like, how random is this? I've never heard, I don't even listen to that person a lot, but you know, I've never heard them mention Thailand or anything, but in my mind I'm thinking Thailand, and you know. And so she okay, so this is my cat messing with things, because this is how it goes when I decide to do something. Everybody wants to get involved, and so sorry that it looks a little crazy right now, but I guess, you know, this is a message that the divine really wants us to have. She is like, now she's playing with the light. So anyway, so that was another synchronicity. And then so the other day I drew this, and I'm gonna do a message on this, because this actually goes with another message that was on my heart, that the Spirit gave me and I wrote out, but this isn't the time to stop to share it. But the other day I do this, I doodled this picture, right? It's a very horrible doodle, okay? But anyway, this is a scale. That's the feather of my, that's the heart. And if you notice, right, the heart is heavier than the feather, which is a mark of judgment. And then I drew a bird underneath. And so on there, it's a little backwards. You might not be able to tell, but that's supposed to be the country that we live in, the bottom of the country. And that was significant of, judgment. So anyway, so then the next day on my way home from work, seems like a lot of stuff happens on my way home from work. I was driving and there was a bird, a goose that had been run over, and it really hit my heart, because geese, I mean, they cross and you have to stop for them, I know where I'm from, it's against the law to run over them and to not stop. So anyway, someone ran over one, and it just made me think about like that's one of the challenges we have in our society is the insensitivity to life, to look at things as lesser than ourselves and to not respect life. But anyway, so then I went on and I went to the beach, and I kid you not, so I'm waiting in the water, and I studied respiratory therapy. So like, we dealt a lot with the heart and lungs and stuff like that. But anyway, so I'm waiting in the water, and a bird heart comes washing up at my feet. And something told me to take a picture, and I didn't. I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to take a picture of that. That's gross. Like, how random, right? And it didn't hit me until I got home, and I was doing some stuff, and I was like, oh crap. Like, that's the significance of the bird feather, with the scale and the heart and the bird, and I was just like majorly impacted by that. And so then another weird synchronicity is that, and I have a whole message with that one. Actually, there was something that the divine put on my heart, and I had written it out, and then I was given a message that it wasn't time to speak on it yet, so I haven't. And then so that's sort of why I was drawing that out. I was thinking about that message, and then the next day, like, dang, here's like a bird heart washing up at my feet. Like, that is just crazy. And so then, so I think it was a couple of days, maybe it was after that. I'm trying to think of the timing. But anyway, within a couple of days of that, I was taking notes, and I was writing down, I was listening to someone, and they were like, well, when you talk to the universe, try talking to the universe as your best friend. And so, so I feel like I'm someone that has my prayers answered a lot, and, but I feel like I've gone through, as we all do, different evolutions in my relationship with the divine. And so, there's different times where I talk to God as, God is the authority, and speaking and praying from that perspective for permission, and then praying as a daughter, as someone who is privileged and honored and protected and blessed, and what is the word? authorized, given authority through the divine, because, my relationship. But then just having the perspective to communicate with the universe as a best friend, like that's a whole different level, and like it's a different level of intimacy. The way you talk to your best friend and the things you reveal to your best friend will be a bit different than what you communicate with your parents, and even when you have great parents, like there's just a freedom that that your best friend will have. Like they understand you even when you kind of miscommunicate things sometimes, like, okay, they know me, they know what I meant by that. And so I was writing these notes to myself, and I accidentally sent them to this guy that I like, or that I was talking to. And so then I was like, oh, F, so that's actually what I sent him. I was like, oh, frick, I didn't mean to send that to you. And so he sends me this song, which is really cool, but it just said, trust the universe. And that's what he says. He's like, just trust the universe. And he sent me this song that says that, and it's a really great song. But then, like, the next day and for the next few days, I can't tell you, like, it's been like 4 or 5 times a day that I hear somewhere someone saying, trust the universe, trust the universe. Like, I think you even saw it on a billboard, trust the universe, and you just go, okay, right, the divine is speaking. And the significance of these synchronicities in my life and your life and our lives is that when we have so many synchronicities, it's a sign that we have access to create what we desire, that we are in the energy of creation, of manifestation, of bringing our thoughts, our emotions, our feelings, our desires into the tangible world. And another way we say that is that the veil is thin, and so there's the power and the energy to work more powerfully with the divine, and to collapse time, and to see things materialize a lot faster in ways that we normally wouldn't expect it to. And so during these times where we see these type of quick manifestations of thought, or, coming into a way into the 3D that we interact with in the 3D, one of the things we have to remember, and that I've been really conscious of recently, is rephrasing, being aware of negative thoughts and perspectives, and rephrasing them in a positive way. Not just saying, oh no, I'm not going to think that. It's like, no, if I think, gosh, that person drives me crazy, instead of saying to myself, I'm not going to, whatever, think that, I'll say something like, wow, I've really grown in being able to ignore them. They don't bother me, anymore, or something like that. But just rephrasing things in a positive way, because when we see that our thoughts are manifesting, we need to really be cautious to make sure that our thoughts and our emotions are geared toward being positive and not negative. And she's usually not this lovey-dovey. She is a little bit, but not this much. And so with that, with the veil being thin, like there's this Okay. I guess she's really happy with this message, you know. So anyway, with this phenomena that sometimes happens, and I don't know if you've had this happen, but where we, at different points in life, we kind of leave a trace of jumping timelines. And one of the ways that it's said that we do that, she's like grabbing my arm. Okay, no. One of the ways that we do that is that we end up with multiples of things that we've only bought one of. And for instance, I bought last year I bought this tarot deck, or it's actually an oracle deck, right? And then a couple of weeks later, I went to open it on the shelf, and I had two. I don't have the boxes right now. I had two of the same ones, and I only bought one. And so sometimes people will find, and I think this has happened to me before, like you might have a shirt that you bought one of, and then you go in your closet, you go in your drawer, wherever you keep your shirts, and you realize, oh my God, I have two of the same exact shirts. Like, I didn't buy this. And that's considered to be like a kind of a hole in space-time continuum, like where we have overlapped timelines, and we kind of where we've jumped through timelines, and there's a residual that comes with us, so we end up with two of something. And you know, and so I mean, the thing is that this is just a really amazing time for us to be in, with this transition to the age of Aquarius. Like the spiritual energy is changing so much, and I know the world looks crazy, and there's just a lot going on that can be deemed as negative, and you know is pretty negative. But within that negativity, the pendulum swings, and there is great positivity, there's great opportunity for change. And the great thing about things being horrible is that they motivate more people to change, and that energy is more easily able to be switched, you know. And so I thought I'd pull some cards along with this message that Spirit put on my heart. And so I was looking to pull a couple of cards, but I ended up with like 4, and then I've got 2 cards that were on the bottom of the deck. But we got pretty much all major arcana. We've got the Fool card, we got the Hermit, we got the Chariot, right? And then I got the Strength card. And so what this says is that this is a major change coming in your life, in the life of the collective, and in our collective energy in this timeline, right? There's major change coming, you know, new opportunities. And you know what? I wanted to read first, but because I pulled it first, okay, is because I was thinking, so the thing about synchronicities, right? They happen for us to communicate with the divine, but they also happen to give us wisdom, to give us insight and discernment. Addie, I mean, Nova, leave her alone. Leave her alone. And so the first card that was pulled for this reading is the Wisdom Keeper. And it says, the Wisdom Keeper's intelligence is never found in a book. It results and grows from respecting and accepting every aspect of their life experience. Wisdom Keepers see signs and cycles in their surroundings wherever they call home. Presence and play conjoin in an intimate dialogue that they learn from every day. And so this goes really well with the message that Spirit put on my heart about the synchronicities and how Spirit moves through us and in us and talks to us and communicates with us through these synchronicities. And it's just a matter of us being open to them and seeing them. The eagle eye observers and these teachers offer their understanding freely and without pretension over a cup of some earthy brew or while walking in nature. The informality of such exchange belies their profound depth of insight. For one who is open and receptive, the exchange can be powerful enough to prompt a breakthrough that resets a viewpoint or life direction. It may take years before a full impact of an exchange with a keeper of wisdom is assimilated. Stop. Rational thought is useless when learning from one who walks the path of self-knowledge. They live their truth while sharing their visions with whomever seeks them out. They are like a well in the desert for those who thirst for wisdom. And so one of the things that synchronicities impart to us is wisdom. You need to stop. No, Addie, move away. Move away. Go on. Go on. Nova, stop. Right now. It says they are like a well in the desert for those who thirst for wisdom. These girls are driving me crazy. So synchronicities bring wisdom into our life, right? They're one of the ways that the universe speaks to us. And with that, then I will read the cards because it talks about just major change, right? The Fool is a beginning, right? A new beginning, like a beginning with a fresh heart, one that leaves behind not the wisdom that we've learned, but the baggage, right? And one that has courage to move on into a fresh area of life, a fresh opportunity, a fresh perspective, right? Leaving behind the baggage of the past, but moving towards what's new. And the Hermit tells us that this traveling is going to come from having gone within, right? Gaining strength, gaining wisdom and insight, and that courage that comes from within. The Hermit is someone that has spent time alone and dealt with their heart and faced the darkness within them and faced the light and has become comfortable with both, right? And so we move forward with a wealth of knowledge, of insight, right? And then with that, we have the Chariot. And the Chariot is fast movement, but it's controlled movement. It's focused movement. It's directed movement. And it's, it's not walking when you're in a chariot. You are going at horse speed. You got some horsepower behind you, right? Because a chariot is typically pulled by horses. And so this is quick movement. This is quick change. This is quick transformation. And then we have the Strength card here, which is beautifully depicted. This woman dancing with a panther, and knowing that as we move forward, as you move forward in this time, this change that is coming, that you have the strength, the agility, the flexibility, the confidence to face whatever that there's no need to fear any obstacles or lions or panthers that come our way, because you have the skill, the ability, the quietness, the strength to calm those situations and to manipulate them to benefit you. And so then at the bottom of the deck we have the Wheel of Fortune, which says that this change that's coming in your life right now is fated. This is part of your destiny. This is part of your calling. This is part of who you were here to become, who you are meant to be, what you are meant to experience, what you are meant to give to the world. This is a part of your fate, a part of your destiny, that at this time in your life, these changes and these experiences that you will be going through very shortly are in the midst of now, what is already in progress of manifesting. This is from the divine. This is fated. And we see the Ace of Pentacles, right? And usually we see the hand of God, the hand of the divine, giving us a pentacle. And at one point, conch shells were worth money. You know, they were a currency. They were a form of wealth. And so this endeavor that is happening for you is going to be one that brings wealth, that brings opportunity of riches, of abundance, of prosperity. And so this is a time to go with it, to not resist it, to not to embrace it, to embrace and to be confident and to know that you are meant for this time. And the fact that there were all but one, and that was like the last one, the Wheel of Fortune just kind of slid right off of it to reveal the Ace of Cups. The Ace of Pentacles. This says the Ace of Coins, but that's the same as the Ace of Pentacles. It slid right off of it to reveal it. And not only are these major arcana, which says like this is powerful, this is prominent, this is now, like this is pretty major in your life, but it also shows that this has a direct blessing from the divine. The divine is intimately involved in making this change and transition just one that benefits you greatly. And so stay open to seeing how the divine is moving in your life. Stay aware of the synchronicities, license plates. I sometimes I'll notice that there'll be two cars in front of me and they'll both have the same 4 numbers in their license plate number. And so I'll look that up and see what it means, because it's really odd that you'll get, or for instance, I might have someone in front of me that has, 9661, and then the next car has 1966, right? Same numbers right next to each other. And the other day I actually had the same numbers but different letters in front of it. So I did pull a couple of other oracle cards. I got this new deck and it's Exploring an Empath's Oracle, and so I want to look at these. And says one is 40 bonding with the rhythm of life, and the other one is trusting in destiny. I don't know if you can read it, but trusting in destiny. They're beautiful art, but I believe these all go with the message of the divine speaking to us, the divine moving in our lives in such a powerful way. And I'm going to read, I guess the first one I'll read is number 2, trusting in destiny, because as we said, we can see with the Wheel of Fortune, right, that this change is destined. This change is from the divine, right? This change is meant to happen. It's part of your life mission here to experience whatever it is that's coming. Okay, so trusting in destiny. I've never read this before. It's a new deck. Trusting that empathy is a sacred gift, valuing our bodies, physical and spiritual senses, remembering that everything happens for a reason. The imagery
The basic message of this painting is absolute trust in the process of the human experience. The woman depicted on the card has become one with her path and can even influence it by trusting in her life's purpose. A finger is placed on her throat and silences her, representing the magic of our path, of our power to influence. It is something beyond the realm of words. Destiny is a difficult term because it implies that everything is running on its proper course and that the universe is unfolding exactly how it's meant to. This can be hard to accept when we have awareness of the world's horrors and suffering, not to mention the challenges we are faced with in our own lives. If quantum physics, which after all is science, is to be believed, everything in reality is unfolding at its own proper pace. We don't need to understand the reason for everything, but we must know that even in the darkest times, that there is some reason behind it. There is a purpose behind what we are experiencing, and there is a purpose to this life, even when going gets rough. It is a miracle to be alive and to be conscious. When we take a perspective of gratitude toward the gift of life, many of our personal issues can come into better perspective. Empaths are natural healers, so much of our purpose revolves around assisting others on their paths while remaining holistically balanced ourselves. Think about ways you can become more balanced in your own life, whether it is physically, emotionally, psychologically, or spiritually. It is okay to not always understand where our lives are going, and it's okay to feel hopeless from time to time. The most important thing, though, is to continue trusting that there is a purpose to our existence. In all time, all things will be revealed. In time, all things will be revealed. Let's keep buckled up for the ride while we do our best to create positive change. And so I think that just kind of speaks to itself how that just blends in with what we were talking about, with the synchronicities, with wisdom, with trust, with the divine moving in our lives, and with this destined change coming into our life, coming in quick, coming in with blessings, with prosperity, with the hand of God dividing, not dividing, but divining us. Okay, so I'm going to read 40, Bonding with the Rhythm of Life. We'll see what that says, how that adds to this. All right. Let's see. We'll do imagery. The intricate painting for this card unveils layers of... Okay, it's a little easier to see that way. Unveils layers of reality that exists within the human mind, consciousness, and earthly experience. The eternal and inseparable connection of everything that lives and exists is the central message of this picture. Everything is meant to be, right? This is an excruciating theory to accept, but we find this message repeating over and over across time, culture, and religion. It's okay to doubt this at times, not least on account of the world's incomprehensible horrors, but somehow this outlook on life echoes inside the heart of every empath, even if we can't understand how or why. The rhythm of life is evolution and expansion. Scientific fields currently recognize that empathy is a primary key in human and animalistic evolution. If everything is meant to be, then empathy is a force that propels things into their proper place. If this card carried a single word, it would be surrender. Spiritual surrender is a requirement for bonding with the universal flow of life. Although it feels safe and comfortable to always be in control of our lives, there's so much that we are not directly in control of. And that even relates to the synchronicity with me sending that silly message to someone I didn't mean to, and them sending me, trust the universe, and then sending me the song, trust the universe, And it says we are bound to physical reality at this point. on our journey, on our soul's journey, and we must accept that if we wish to create any semblance of peace, it is not always easy to exist in these physical vessels, these fragile bodies. Sometimes all we can do is trust in the process. During daily life, we can choose to take the perspective that we ourselves are spirit, or we are God and God is us, and we experience God experiencing itself. When everything is viewed as sacred, life becomes more meaningful and alive. If we are indeed spirit, then our every thought, word, and action carry spiritual significance. Additionally, our every interaction with other beings carries spiritual weight. The Sanskrit words karma means action. So the way we choose to intentionally conduct ourselves in reality is this essence of karma itself. When drawing this card, you have no choice but to shift your perspective to see how beautiful life is and how beautiful it is becoming. Through our daily experiences, things synchronize in order to bring us lessons or simply to remind us that we are alive in a spiritual or multifaceted experience of reality. Let's make this experience the best we can, both for others and ourselves. And that just sums everything up that we've been talking about. I'm going to read that. I'm going to read those last two paragraphs again. Additionally, our every interaction with other beings carries spiritual weight. The Sanskrit word karma means action. So the way we choose to interact, to intentionally conduct ourselves in reality, is the essence of karma itself. When drawing this card, you have no choice but to shift your perspective to see how beautiful life is and is becoming. Throughout our daily experiences, things synchronize in order to bring us lessons or to simply remind us that we are alive in a spiritual and or multifaceted experience of reality. Let us make every experience the best we can, both for others and ourselves. And I think that sums it up really well. That the divine speaks to us daily, and it is up to us to see how to recognize, to see the signs, to know that the divine is speaking to us, and to know that when we trust our destiny, like so many great things happen. And yes, we can look at the world and see just some crazy stuff going on. And I am someone who believes that, yes, we do need to involve ourselves in change, whether it's protecting the planet or whatever, serving the poor. But, our action, our karma is to do something, to not, a prayer and meditation is good, but there is also a need for action. And but we see within that is that when we trust the divine, when we listen to the synchronicities and we flow with the energy of the divine, that great change is coming into our lives. Destined change, right? Change that brings us a wealth of opportunity, of abundance, of prosperity, knowing that we have the ability, we've got the strength, we've got the tools we need, got our chariot, right? We've gone within, so we're ready for it. We have let go of much of the past that was holding us back, right? And we have developed the skill to dance with the panther, to calm the lion, right? To rejoice despite, we can look at the panther and the lion that's usually on the card as some of the challenges in life, right? Those are some powerful predatory beings, right? Animals very strong. Yet the Strength card shows us that we have the ability to tame those situations and to benefit ourselves through them, to also make a difference and to benefit those animals as well, or those situations can be benefited through us. So I do hope you found this encouraging, and that you are more sensitive and aware of how the divine is speaking to you this week through people, through circumstances, through conversations you overhear, through license plate numbers, through just so many different ways. And to know that the divine loves you, the divine is with you, the divine has not forgotten you, and that victory is yours. And remembering that as we go through our days, to be conscious of what we are thinking, because in this time where the energy and the veil is thin, and we have so much more easy access to bring into reality that which we desire, that we need to make sure that our emotions and our thoughts are positive, so that we are bringing into reality positive things, and to know that even just the positive fleeting thoughts that we have, those things materialize. We don't have to focus on something and ponder it and just stay on it to bring things into reality. And sometimes that actually pushes it away, because it signals to the universe that we're lacking something there, and it comes across in a negative. It repulses it, repels it away, instead of magnetizing it towards us. And the way to magnetize toward us the things that we desire is to stay in a joyful perspective. And that doesn't mean that we can't have hard things happening. It just means that even through the challenges, that we're centered, and the joy in our heart is centered. So anyway, I'm gonna leave it there. Hit the like button, leave me a message, let me know what you think of this message. It was a little bit long, and but anyway, thank you and much love.